like this is what your life like. Try to live your life right. People really know you push your buttons like.
All right, everyone, we are live again with another episode of Dink or Swim. Today, I have a special guest. First of all, my name is Cesar, and my special guest today is Troy. So, Troy, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
What's up, guys? My name is Troy, and I'm born and raised in San Jose, California.
So this is home for you.
This is home, yes.
Has it been home for you?
Has it been home for me?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's definitely been my home base, but I've definitely been around. I lived in San Diego, San Francisco, and then as well as New York.
New York. Okay.
But yeah, San Jose it's always home.
Yeah, just the home vibes. What about it is home for you? Obviously, you're from here, right? You grew up here. I'm assuming you went to school out here, growing up. But other than that, what about it is like home for you?
That's a good question. I honestly think the people, like your family, your friends.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up with them.
For sure.
You know, memories, like the places that you always visit growing up, like the food spots and all that. So.
Is there any places in San Jose that just make you think of San Jose? I got one. I don't even know if it's still open.
Lab?
Not Lab. I mean, Lab is cool too. I mean, do your thing. But when I think of San Jose, I think of Nickel City. I don't know.
Nickel City, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that place?
Yeah. My dad used to go there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if I remember correctly, at the very back they had like the free games, right? Like there were like some games that obviously everything was a dime or a nickel, right? But I think at the very back there were games that were literally free, and like as a kid, that was like the dream. Go in there, go in the back, play some free video games, Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2, like whatever the case may be, right? Obviously I'm a little older, but yeah, you get my drift. But you've been there?
I've been there, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember like the free games. But
okay.
Yeah.
So what about for you though? What's like a home place that reminds you of San Jose?
Maybe not necessarily like a place, but like a plaza, like the Silver Creek Plaza.
Ah,
San Jose a lot.
The one right next to Target.
Next to Target, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like what they'll buy, Tapico Express, where it used to be.
Oh, it's not there anymore?
No, I think it's definitely something new.
Wait, is that where Trom now? Is that where Tapioca Express is, or different side? I don't know. Okay, so that plaza, I would say that's definitely pretty San Jose. Okay, cool. So you're from San Jose. You've been to San Diego. You've been to San Francisco, New York. How are those places?
I would say New York is definitely my favorite spot that I've ever lived.
Really?
It's very exciting.
Okay.
You know, it's super fast paced. There's literally, you can do anything like at any time, and I really enjoyed it. I actually have ADHD, so like being in New York was very stimulating for me. And like
Wow, I would never. I like that. That makes sense. Like I never thought about that. Like all the lights and the action, the people, and just like the noise.
Yeah.
That's so. Was it kind of like a soothing thing for you, or?
It was like you kind of just felt like everyone was in motion, and I really liked that.
Okay.
And like, let's say like you're kind of pursuing something, whether it's like creative or like entrepreneurship or whatever. Like you wake up, like you hear the sounds immediately, and you walk outside and like you see people walking.
It's almost like inspiring, right?
Inspiring.
Like, yeah. And when I went, go ahead.
Just, I guess I like. You kind of just look at the skyscrapers, or like you go to a park, like Central Park, and there's just inspiration everywhere.
I'm literally having deja vu because me and my fiance, we were just in Chicago, like a week and a half ago, and I literally remember just looking up at the skyscrapers, and I'm just like, damn, like someone freaking built that, and it was just so inspiring to me just to think, like, man, someone's creative mind and the people a part of that team, they all work together to build something that amazing, that huge, that monumental, right? And I think you're right, like being in a big city like that is just, it's almost like you're being inspired like every day. So I could see how that's a good place to be. Is that somewhere you want to be like down the road, or?
You know, I haven't really decided.
Yeah.
I think San Jose will probably be home for like the next few years.
Yeah. And it always will be, right?
Yeah. Like my whole family's here.
Yeah.
Like it'll always be home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Like if I do ever go wherever, I'll always have a place here.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So okay, that's great. I mean, I'm glad you're able to share some of that. So I wanted to ask you, Troy, what started your pickleball journey? Did you have any racket sports background? Did you see it online? Did you have any friends that brought you in the game? Like, how did you start playing pickleball?
Yeah. So I also actually went through a pretty traumatic experience, and that's kind of why I left New York.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin Timothy Tran, he's not on the podcast yet, but I'm pretty sure he will be.
Shout out Tim.
But yeah, he actually came up with a great idea because he was already playing pickleball at the time, like here and there, and as a kind of a way for like the family to kind of de-stress, he came up with the idea to play pickleball at Evergreen Valley College. Okay. And that's kind of like where I got my start. My whole family, we're out there like almost every single day, and you know, I immediately got addicted to it. Like I was out there for like 8 to 10 hours a day.
And you're still out there for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. I just couldn't stop. And then like the other aspect was that, you know, I met, you know, a lot of great people, which was also very addicting. Shout out Ryan Quincy, First Evergreen people. And yeah, it's been great, and that's kind of how I got into it.
But you had no
no racket experience. I did wrestling in high school, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And so you go to EVC your first time. How was that experience? Like obviously you're with your family, so you're learning together, but how was that like experience overall?
It was fun, honestly. When I first started playing, like I kept like fucking logging the ball. Like all like I don't know if it was like my paddle position or like the way that I was hitting the ball, but every shot that I made was like a lob, and like, you know, obviously like my opponents would, you know, constantly smash it and all that, and then like my family and like my friends would be like, dude, all your shots are freaking like killing us, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall it was a great experience. I like when I first started out, I guess I wasn't too like concerned about like my technique.
Right.
I think it happened afterwards. I think I was just out there like to have fun.
Have fun.
It was fun, yeah.
Be outdoors.
Yeah.
Be with the family. Yeah. Do something together, right?
Yeah.
I love that. And to anyone out there that, you know, maybe you might be a little busy or you haven't really had that quality time with your friends or your family, I highly recommend trying pickleball out. You know, I think it's definitely a family friendly sport. I know JT plays with his family all the time. I'm trying to get my sister to play. Funny story, for my birthday, my sister knows that I'm like pretty in love with pickleball, and she was like, yeah, I got you something, go check it out, it's awesome. And I was super excited. I'm like, yeah, cool, I can't wait, let me check it out. What is it? Like, is it a ball? Is it some new shoes? Like, I have no idea. Open it up, it's a Gucci paddle. A Gucci pickleball paddle. I'm like, what do I even do with? Do I use it? I don't want to walk around with that. So I didn't want to tell it. I didn't want to tell it to her. I didn't want to like break her heart. I have it right here, but yeah, it's insane. But yeah, do it with your friends. Do it with your family. It's a great bonding experience. I mean, would you say your family, you know, got closer through it?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. I don't like remember a phase or a time where like my whole family was like together constantly, like nearly almost, you know, every single day. So it was a great bonding experience. You know, unfortunately didn't necessarily keep up with it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
my sister Emily, like, you know, she was able to keep up with it, and
For
she
sure.
still does today, and we still play like almost every day together.
For
and
sure.
It's
And shout out to Emily. Emily is like one of the first persons I met going to the hub, and she's one of the reasons why I feel like it's a very welcoming environment. She's been welcoming since day one, and you know, shout out to you. So shout out Emily.
Austin too.
Austin too. Love you, Austin. Paddle Merchant, wherever you are. I also wanted to ask, what keeps you playing?
That's it.
I know you love the sport. I know, and for those of you that don't know, I mean, Troy puts in the work, like day in, day out. I mean, I think for in terms of duration of playing, like time played versus skill, I think he's probably one of the most efficient in terms of time played over skill. I think we started at the same time, but obviously you're way better than me, right? So there's a level of dedication and a level of commitment that you have to make those big increases in your skill and your technique. So what pushes you? What motivates you?
It's a good question. I think, you know, after I kind of got through my phase of, you know, just having fun,
Mm-hmm.
I think my competitive side really kicked in overdrive, and I think it's a little bit of my own personality as well. Like I kind of have like an addictive personality on like getting better every single day, and like whatever I do, and I kind of took that with pickleball.
I love that.
And yeah, like
It just took over. Like that side just took over.
Took over. Like,
was there like a moment, like maybe a game you played where you got destroyed, or maybe an opponent you played against that you're like, okay, I gotta turn my shit up? Like, was there a moment like that, or it just happened?
I still have those moments to this day.
Well, okay. When was the last moment?
Yeah, I recently played a tournament with one of my boys, Mike. Shout out Mike. And we faced an opponent, and the first match that we did, we 11-1 them. And
I think I talked about this in the last podcast.
And you know, during that tournament, like I was feeling good. I was like, dude, we about to freaking,
in the bag.
We about to cook. And then the second game, they changed their strategy into lobbing everything.
Oof.
And you know, I was getting super frustrated because you know, the sun was, you know, right above us, so either side of the courts, you were gonna get blinded by the sun.
Oh, whichever way you were.
Yeah, whichever way you were.
Got it.
So whenever they lobbed it, it was very difficult for us to see the ball. And we lost the second and third game. It was best out of 3, and I was so frustrated. And you know, after that game, I went straight to the hub, and then I practiced with JT. I was like, hey, lobs, let's do it. Let's work it. Let's smash. Let's
right after.
Let's drill. Yeah.
Literally, like okay. What time did the event end?
It ended at like 12-1.
Okay, so like 2 o'clock, you were at the hub practicing lobs.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, to be honest, like that's what any successful person does, right? They find a flaw in their game, in their strategy, in their thinking, and they address it, and they address it head on, right? And they keep working at it until it's not a problem anymore. So shout out to you for doing that. That's, I mean, not a lot of players that I know of do that and have that level of commitment and dedication to the sport, but more importantly to yourself, right? I think that's like number one, is just having that dedication to yourself and knowing that you can achieve great things if you put in the work, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you're definitely one of the hardest working players I see out there, so shout out to you. Yeah, of course.
I'm all right.
No, you're up there. advice for a new player, advice for someone that is struggling.
Advice for a new player. That's kind of a hard question, but I guess I would say for a new player is just play.
Just play.
Yeah, just put in some time. Have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Try getting the ball over the net. Over and over and over again, and kind of just have fun with it. And then eventually you'll kind of like understand like how your body works, like what your strokes are, and then you can eventually start to work on things that you want to do and the things that you want to work on. But yeah, just
keep it simple. Just play.
Yeah, just play. Because I think if you're trying to coach an absolutely brand new player, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, let's work on your backhand flick, or
yeah.
let's work on your rolls,
yeah,
or let's work on your punch volleys, and then you'll be like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Too many things.
Yeah, too many things.
It's kind of one of those situations where if you try to master everything, you master nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of just play the game, feel it out, see how your body reacts to the ball, see how you move. Learn a little bit of etiquette, I guess.
Yeah. And then I'd also say like, if you have the time, watch a couple of videos here and there. I'm sure for a lot of us, like we're, addicted to either TikTok or like Instagram, and there's a lot of like great information on there. Shout out to my boy Tanner.
Tanner's a good one.
In under 60 seconds.
I love that. I love those videos.
Drop.
Yeah.
So watch a couple of videos here and there, and then start to develop like an understanding of the game more and more.
Okay.
And then I guess for people who are like currently going through like challenges in their game, I feel like that's kind of what happens with everyone.
Yeah.
Like your first 3-6 months, your growth is going to be explosive, right? Like you're just going to be climbing, and there's not necessarily like any setbacks. But then there's going to be a time where that growth kind of stagnates.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to do something else. And to kind of piggyback on what JT said, I honestly recommend finding a coach or a mentor that'll help elevate your game.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have a coach. He's kind of like a father to me. His name is John. Shout out John if you ever listen to this. He's like a 4.5/5.0 player.
Nice.
And like just like one session with him like really changed like my technique, the way that I play the game. And then another thing is like the mental aspect of the game. Like you could be really, really great at the game technique wise, but if your mentals aren't there, you're not going to play well. And that's something that I struggle with a lot. And what he taught me is you have to, on a daily basis, you need to keep your mentals in check in order to play a proper game. I still struggle with it to this day. Like I get super angry at myself all the time, or like super angry at the way that other people play. Whether it's like shooting rockets at your face or like smashing the ball at like women that are not necessarily like at ready to take that ball.
Yeah.
Like I still get like fucking frustrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like find a mentor or coach that will confide in you, and I'm very sure that if you're kind to them, they'll be kind to you, and they'll be willing to help you out, because if someone were to ask you for tips, you're not gonna say no. Like you'd be willing to give them some advice.
Right.
What else? Drilling. That's the obvious answer. Drilling is probably like the most beneficial way to improve your game. Honestly, like you're gonna hit like 100 times more balls in a drilling session than a regular rec game. And And like if you're getting frustrated at certain shots that you're currently doing, or like you're popping the ball up a lot, and like you're getting frustrated every single day about the way that your shot is, then you need to fix that.
Yeah.
Go drill.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, maybe you'll stop getting frustrated yourself because you drilled that shot.
Yeah, and I like what you said, that in a drilling session you can get exponentially more shots in, especially on a specific shot that you're working on, right? Whether it's backhand, forehand, like whatever the shot may be, slice, whatever. And you get exponentially more shots, whereas in a game, like you might be only able to get, for a shot that you're practicing, like maybe, 3 or 4 of those shots, if maybe, right? So I think drilling is definitely one of those things that's underrated. If you aren't, definitely do it. And then what I really like what you said is, if you're at a standstill and you're stuck, you gotta change something up. Whether that's your drilling routine, whether that's your warm-up routine, whether that's how you're doing a certain move, your certain technique. Because as we all know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, but it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. So you only get better by A, repetition, but B, if the repetition is not working and you keep messing up, then something is wrong, right? And maybe you, as in the individual, maybe you won't be able to point that out, but a mentor and a coach that is watching your game will be able to point that out for you and help you develop the right technique and skill set. So I really like what you were saying on that. I think you're spot on. If you're listening to this, word from the wise, Troy himself. Last thing, what do you have going on? What are you working on in your game? Any updates on your end? Any tournaments you're joining? What's going on in your world?
Honestly, no like updates to my game. I just
Just keep it simple.
Keep it simple, day in, day out. I play, I drill when I can, and I kind of just take it day by day.
Is that league done with, or are you still going?
It's still going, but I'm not enjoying it. People are dropping out of the league. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that, like that level of play at that tournament. I was kind of expecting more, because
like more than just lobs type thing.
That situation. Not only that, but me and Mike played another 4-0, 4-5 league at the hub, and that was a lot more enjoyable because we were definitely playing with people like around our skill level, and it was like really great games. And I to kind of like I guess like piggyback on that fact is that I don't necessarily like care about winning or losing. I care about the quality of the game that I play.
I love that.
And I get the most frustrated with myself if like I can't get that quality level of play with either my gameplay or like
just in general, like
yeah.
the field, the environment has to be to par, because I mean at the end of the day you're trying to enjoy it, number one, but you're also trying to get better, right? I'm assuming. Yeah. Win or lose, improvement, self-improvement, Kaizen, right? You know what Kaizen is, right? Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Troy, for coming on.
Yeah.
Last minute. Willing to do it. Love all the gems you dropped. A lot of useful information in there. If you have any questions, reach out to Troy, reach out to myself. We would love to answer them. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Bye, guys.